All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So I am not still happy for how last week ended, right? Because we took a loss. And in this video, we are going to cover all the 20 pairs using the fxalexg stand and forget strategy, but we are going to also review that loss to see what we did, if there was something we did wrong, and if there's something we can actually change to help us grow in the next week, right? So I'm mostly recording this video mostly for myself too, because I'm still learning, right? The market is always a teacher, right? So this was a trade right here that we took. We took a buy on GBP JPY last week. So this is pretty much how the week went. So coming into the new year, as you can see, we did not take any trade until we dropped the weekly setups as usual. And then I actually took a trade right here and then I won, which is this trade right here. But as you can see, I didn't really call this trade on Telegram, right? So that was a mistake. I totally forgot, right? And then there was another trade that played out, which was AUD card, but there was no entries on that one. And then the last pair I called was GPP JPY, which is the trade we're going to be reviewing now, because we actually lost this trade, right? So we actually lost this trade eventually, as you can see. So I don't think I did anything wrong, but let us see live, because I've not checked what I did wrong, if there was anything I did wrong. So my thought process behind this trade was that, first of all, the entire time frame was clearly very bullish, right? Very, very bullish trend. And I have a very similar trade I took one time, was on USD JPY, right? This trade right here, November 18th, thereabouts, right? So let us go to USD JPY to see if it is similar with the one we are taking right now, which is GBP JPY. So they were both JPY pairs, and that one was on USD JPY. And I remember that that trade actually gave us a very, very big, as you can see right here, he gave us a very, very big trade, right? Very, very big risk to reward, even if we closed at 1:2, by the way. So we missed it. And that's why I still remember this trade, and that's why I took this one of last week, right? So let's go to USD JPY. So that was November 19th. Look down here, you can see. Let us look for November 19th. Let me use this to find it. So November 14th, 18, November 19, right? So, all right. So let's pretend that this price action did not happen, right? Let's pretend that this price action did not happen. So we'll be looking at this price action right here to see if we would have caught that same trade that we took, this one right here. So coming over to USD JPY, right? The daily time frame was clearly bullish, and it's the same thing that I am saying was happening this last week, because it was clearly bullish, moving up, right? There was no reason to be selling in a bullish trend, right? All right, so daily was clearly bullish, same thing. Weekly was clearly bullish, right? And 4 hour, where's 4 hour? All right, so 4 hour was, let's come closer, see. 4 hour was also bullish before that time, right? So we would have entered on the 1 hour time frame, but would have looked for area of interest. So let's see if we would have gotten an area of interest. Let's see something here. All right, so area of interest is probably going to be the 4 hour. Let me see. All right, so let's call this the area of interest right here. All right, let's call this the area of interest. So price is above area of interest, right? And it's still moving bullish. All right, so let's go to the 1 hour. This was last year, right? This is basically the same thing I did last week on GBP JPY, right? So that I'm just explaining my thought process behind that trade. So those that are watching this video, I'm expecting that you guys are trying to learn. So I don't expect you guys to just jump out of the video, right? So okay, so this right here is what now? 1 hour time frame. So what would my thought process have been last year? So if I was on this trade, if I'm looking to buy, because I know my bias is buy, so now we are above area of interest, we'll be looking for a retracement to buy, but this market structure is clearly bearish. We are breaking lows right now, right? So we'll need a high. All right, so since this right here was the lower low and lower high, right, and we entered around 17, 18 there, about something like that, right? 17, yes, I think it's 17. No need to go back. If I go back, it means I'll look at the pair again. So let's just see what we have. Lower low. Okay, so we need a break above that high, just like this. This high right here. To buy. Right? Okay, so right here we see that we had a break above. This was a tight one, but I'm sure this is available on the 30 minutes. But this right here, we can see that we have an engulfing right here. So we are going to be taking it this like a break, a retest, and an engulfing right here. So we'll be entering on this candle right here, right? And I can put my stop loss here, but that's not the wisest place to put your stop loss. Wisest place to put your stop loss is below this low right here, right? Because there's just a lot of market structure above all these places. It's not certain that price cannot weak you out here. It's very certain that if price gets here, then it has shifted structure bearish totally. So it's wiser to actually keep your stop loss around this level. Then as usual, we'll target 1:2 risk to reward ratio, something like this. Okay, so this was how the trade was looking. Let's check whether it's even the same thing. Where did I enter? Entered. Is this the trade? No. Okay, as you can see, I entered on that candle and put my stop loss below. So you can see replicating the same thing back to back. So that's what happened last week, right? GBP, JPY. Let's review it again. All right, so GBP, JPY. What happened last week was very simple. So this was the trade we took last week, and you can see that the market structure was clearly bullish. This is my thought process on GBP, JPY. Was clearly bullish, okay, and its market structure still currently bullish on that at the time before entry, right? Because all these candles did not exist last week, right? So yes, it was clearly bullish. So weekly time frame, what about that? Clearly bullish, okay. Then 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame was also bullish, right? So we have all 3 time frame in sync, right? Then we are supposed to enter on the 1-hour time frame, right? So 1 hour, coming over to the 1-hour time frame right now, we can see that we have a strong resistance level right here at the time, right? So what we were looking for, as you can clearly see from this arrow of last week, we are looking for a break and a retest to buy, right? So that's pretty much what happened, right? We had a break and we had a retest and the confirmatory entry to buy, right? So that's why I bought this market. I cannot see anything that is wrong with this. Oh my, I can see what is wrong now. I can't believe this, man. I've passed this stage. All right, so let me show you guys what I just saw. Right, so now that we had a break above this area of interest, as you can see, right? Now that we had a break above this area of interest, it was a very tight one. I'm just noticing this now. This was the higher high and this was the higher low at the time. Are you guys with me? This was the higher high and this was the higher low. It was a tight one, but price broke above that high again. This right here, which means we'll have to find a new low for that, which is this right here. So now that price is now retracing, price is actually currently bearish, right? Which makes this the new lower low, this right here, and this the new lower high, which simply means we should not be buying right now. Why? Because the market structure on the 1 hour is still currently bearish, or was still bearish. In my mind, I read this as higher high and higher low. I didn't see this at the time. I was about to blame the market, but guess I am the wrong one now, right? So this right here market structure was still bearish. What should I have done? What I could have done, I should have waited for a new market structure shift, right? So it's either price create a new lower low just like this, right? And then have a break and retest above that level. So let me explain what I'm saying. Now that price was here, if I noticed that this market was bearish, the best way to enter for a buy on this market was to wait for another break and retest above this level when price create a new low. So the price action was supposed to be like this. When price, this was the lower low, lower high. Price was supposed to create a new low just like this, then have some break and retest above this high to for us to buy. All right, so it was my fault, right? I didn't see this. It was very tight. I don't know why I did not see it. I'm confused. I think in my mind I just read this as the higher high and higher low. I didn't see this low and counted it. So it's a well-deserved loss because now I've learned what I should do. I should be I should be very careful with the 1 hour time frame, right? So the 1 hour time frame, what I've learned from that now is that 1 hour time frame is golden, right? And the reason I'm calling it golden is because that is the time frame you're going to be putting your money to trade. Every other time frame you're looking to see if this is a good trade, if it's good enough to trade your money. But once the 1 hour time frame has confirmed that it's good enough to trade your money, that is when you're actually going to be putting your money. So 1 hour time frame is golden because it's on that time frame, which is the entry time frame. That is the period in time where you're going to be entering the market. 1 hour time frame is golden. Watch the market structure very closely and enter in the right way. Right, so that's what I've learned from this loss right now. And now let's go ahead and analyze all 20 pairs using the fxalexg set and forget strategy. Let's do this. So let's start from USD, AUD USD. We'll delete everything and go over to the daily time frame to see what we have there. All right, so AUD USD daily time frame is clearly bullish, right? Higher high, higher low, done. Weekly time frame is also clearly bullish right now. Higher high, higher low, done, right? So 4 hour time frame, since we already have two time frame in sync, let's draw an area of interest first and see. Okay, so let me check if we can draw a daily area of interest. Daily. Let me draw this well. All right, so we have exactly 3 taps from area of interest. Let's go to the 4 hour and see if it matches well. So 4 hour has at least, from current price data, it has at least 3 taps from this area right now, right? So we should be looking for buys on AUD USD, right? AUD USD. So how am I supposed to play this market right now? Weekly 1 hour time frame. Okay, so 1 hour time frame, which is going to be the entry, we are going to be very careful again as usual. So we are going to be waiting for price to break above this high, right? This high right here. Now you could read this as the lower low and lower high, and this is the new low and this is the new high, making this market structure bullish. But it's still risky because the entire time frame right now is still bearish. I mean, the momentum of the market right now is still bearish and EMA is still above, is still below holding price. You should be a little bit more careful judging this entire price data off of this one candle, because if you are paying close attention, you know that last week was NFP, right? You can't just judge, you can't just say that this is bullish just because it's bullish, right? It's bullish right now, but you can't just say it's bullish because last week was NFP. You can't judge it off of one candle. So now what is the best way to actually enter this kind of market right now, right? The best way is to look for a new high, which is real to some extent, because last week was NFP, right? This candle right here to me is not real because it was just a very volatile price movement in the chart, right? So we need to look for a new high and find a new break and retest of that high to buy. So this is my game plan for GBP USD, sorry, AUD USD, right? So AUD USD, I need a cleaner break and retest above this high to buy, right? This is the 1 hour time frame. It's clear enough, right? So I just need something like this, then we buy from this level right here. So that's my game plan on AUD USD. All right, so next pair we have is GBP AUD. Let's go over to the daily, see what we have. So daily time frame, we are still going to be using the same game plan of last week. But one thing I noticed last week was that some people were trying to sell because, but I didn't call this pair, right? I called this pair as one of the pairs for last week, but I didn't call it for us to sell. But some people saw this on 1 hour time frame. It was very clean, right, for them, right? And then they saw a break right here, a retest, and an engulfing. See, this is the reason why you need to watch the longer version of this video, because there's a lot of things I'll be covering that you might not really get in the shorter version of this video. So this right here will look like a clean trade. It's a very strong break, retest, engulfing. You could have been entering here right now, right? I mean, putting your stop loss above this high, and guess what? Stop loss, right? Now, why did I not call this trade, and what did I see that made me not to call this trade? If you look very closely, you can clearly see, or let's go over to the 4 hour time frame, which is higher. You can clearly see on the 4 hour time frame that this right here, this low right here, price has come here before and rejected up very strongly. Same thing here, reject up very strongly, and price came here and tap it one time again, reject it up very strongly. So you can't just assume that price will come here and might not have that rejection, right? You need a cleaner break and retest under this level, under this line right here to actually sell, right? You can clearly see you need it on the 4 hour time frame. Why? Because the 4 hour time frame is the one that shows that price has never crossed that level before, right? Price has not crossed that level before. It has always wicked into it and always rejected up very strongly. So the best way to actually play this market is to wait for price, especially on the 4 hour, to actually be trading below here before you can now start looking for reasons to actually sell, right? So that is actually a good one. So, but I'm still looking for sales on GBP AED if you can get a very clean break and retest under this level, right? So I'll be bringing down this square to accommodate this yellow line, so that it will just be very clear, right, when we are entering the market. So that is that for GBP AED. I still like it for this week. So we are getting similar pairs of last week, right? So GBP JPY, we just covered the reason why we lost, and I still believe that this market could end up buying. If you notice, last week was just a week out because of daily doji, right? So I was expecting that after two sales on this market, the next market will just buy, right? Which it did eventually, but our stop loss was too close to that level, right? So right now, let us see what we have on this market. So coming over to the daily time frame, what can you observe? First thing you can observe is that the market is clearly trending very bullish right now, and market structure is clearly bullish because of this low and this high, right? And then we had 3 days of sellers in this market, which we were involved, by the way, and then we have an engulfing right here on the daily time frame, which engulfs which engulf 2 days of price action, right? So the market is clearly bullish. Weekly time frame is the same thing, right, as you can clearly see. And then let's go over to the 4 hour time frame, which might be the only time frame we will have any form of market structure for us to trade off of, right? So this right here now, 4 hour time frame, of course we are still going to be using the same area of interest. We do not have any more price data to tell us what to do next, right? So this right here now is the 4 hour area of interest. Okay, so clearly you can see that price have rejected off of this area. We are planning on buying here before, didn't happen. Now that we are still above, we are having the same price action to try again, hopefully, right? So what we are going to do next is go over to the 1 hour time frame, and as you can see from this 1 hour time frame, what you expect now is a retracement and an engulfing to buy. So this market might happen very early next week, right? So it's still going to be the same price action we were planning on trading last week that did not happen, right? So that's that for GBP JPY. So we technically have the same pairs of last week. Let's go over to other pairs. We have Euro GPP, right? So Euro GPP was the edited, what will I call it now? Euro GBP was played out very fast, right? I posted this on TikTok and YouTube. No, not YouTube, TikTok and Instagram, all these places, right? It was a very clean setup, and let us just recap on what we saw on that pair, right? So weekly time frame was, well, bullish, right? Weekly time frame was bullish, right? Daily time frame, so we still need at least two time frame in sync. As you can clearly see, daily time frame was clearly bearish, right? Daily time frame bearish. From here, lower low, lower high. All this price action did not happen at that time, right? 4 hour time frame, okay, let's go over to 4 hour. Now 4 hour time frame, all this price action did not happen that time, so we need to read this price action right now, and you can clearly see this was a higher high, higher low. Price broke under that level, making this market structure bearish, and you can clearly see it was bearish again sef, right? EMA is above, same thing on the daily, right? Same thing on the daily. So what we have to look for now is 1 hour time frame to give us reasons to sell, and should also be bearish with market structure. So you can clearly see right here, clearly bearish right now, right? Then we sold again. This is clearly market creating lower lows and lower highs, right? It's very simple, normal break, retest, right? If you see here right now, break, retest, engulfing, entry, right? Stop loss above the high, sell, right? So that was how the market was very clean. This market could have given us a 1:3 risk reward ratio, very clean setup, right? So right now we don't have any opportunities on our market. I can't see anything to trade off of, right? So we have to go over to the next pair to continue, right? So next pair, AUD card. AUD card daily time frame is already not looking good. We seem to want a deeper retracement, right? So around this, somewhere around this level to buy, right? I have golden time frames I usually work with best, right? Which is the daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour, right? I really need those time frames to be very clean for me to buy or sell. If you notice me analyzing this market, you have noticed that on the weekly time frame, I don't really pay so much attention to that. Even if the strategy says that that weekly time frame is the strongest time frame, all those good stuff, it doesn't mean I don't put them into consideration. The reason I don't really pay too much attention on it is because I am being very realistic, right? So if you enter during the week, right? If you enter during the week, they are planning on holding the trade for like 2 to 4 days, right? Or 1 to 5 days. Basically, we have 5 days in the week, right? During the trading week, right? That's normal trading week. We have, then Saturday and Sunday is not involved, right? So I'm not trying to catch one or more candles. If I'm trying to catch one or more candles, I'm going over to the 1 hour or catch multiple 1 hour candles to probably give me the final take profit I'm looking for. I don't know whether you guys understand what I'm explaining. If I go over to the 1 hour time frame and I enter on the 1 hour time frame, before 2 days elapsed after holding the trade, I must have caught a number of candles. But on the weekly time frame, I can't catch more than one candle, right? And that candle will not close until my trade is, like my trade will close before that candle will even close, right? Because that candle forms in 1 week. I don't know whether you guys are understanding. So that's why I don't pay too much attention to weekly time frame that much. I just look for strong areas. If it's there, I'm good to go. If it's not there, I'm not good to go, right? Because I'm not trying to trade the weekly time frame. Weekly time frame, I might catch up. If I'm trading the weekly time frame, I might want to catch more than one candles. Like, let me say I'm buying from here. I'm trying to catch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 5 weeks, right? That's 1 month and 1 week of holding one trade, right? I can't do that. That's not what the strategy is saying. We are trying to catch trade, like we are trying to catch 2 days, or 3 days into the week. So let's continue with the weekly setups. So GBP CHF. GBP CHF, I did not add this one for last week. The reason was because the price action at that time was very choppy, right? The price action at that time was very, very choppy. But this trade would have again gone into profits. Seems like the only trade that we took is the only one that went to loss last week, which is crazy, right? So I was explaining that I could put a video where I was explaining this, but I was explaining that price was clearly bullish. We could buy and all those good stuff. But right now, seems like the market has already played out. We can't see where to enter, or personally, I can't see where to enter on this market. Prices are this high, we could have entered somewhere around here to target that high, but price is at that high right now, so we can't really necessarily continue buying with this market, right? But if you're looking for clear place to buy, I can clearly see an area of interest right here, which is clearly above that high again as usual. And then on lower time frames like 4 hour, we need price to have a cleaner break and retest above that high to buy, right? Just like this. So let's look at this again. Daily time frame is bullish. Weekly time frame is, well, is bullish right now, right? Which is good. And then 4 hour time frame, it doesn't really matter if it's bullish or bearish, because once we have that break, if we have that break, it's going to be bullish, right? So let's just let me delete all this. Let me draw this again. Daily time frame, this is not a bad trade. I'm just realizing now, this is not a bad trade. We just need a cleaner break and retest above this level. So this right here is a key resistance. EMA is clearly below, right? You can clearly see on the 4 hour time frame, it's clearly below. It's clearly below, holding price as support, right? So it's not a bad trade at all. All we just need is a clean break and retest above this level to buy. Okay, it's not a bad trade at all. So we need a clean break and retest above this level to buy. So that is that for GBP CHF. Let us add it for this week for now. I'll decide if to add it for the week. Okay, next pair, GBP AUD. GBP AUD, we are pretty much still waiting for price to get back to this area for us to be interested in selling. Price has not done that, so there's nothing we can do right now. NZD card. NZD card. Alright, so price action is what? Technically bullish. Okay, weekly time frame. Weekly time frame is, I can't even read it, but is bearish. Okay, I can see it now. So weekly time frame is bearish. This is the low. That's why I need to delete everything first. Right, weekly time frame is bearish. This is the low. This is the high. Okay, so weekly time frame is bearish. Daily time frame, well, technically is bullish because it just broke above this high, right? But we are having an engulfing there, so it might still be, sellers must still be involved in this market. 4 hour time frame, can clearly see it's clearly bearish, right? Oh, it's bullish right now, but it's a very tight one. All right, so I'm not trading this market, right? Everything is so tight. All right, so USD JPY. USD JPY, we delete everything, and this is what the daily time frame. Okay, daily time frame, clearly the higher high. Now we also need to pay attention to this high as well. This high happened in when, by the way? This is 2025, 2024, 2025. That's crazy. It's very far, right? So what do we do now? Let's check the weekly time frame. Weekly time frame also is, you can see it's above at that high. If you know why I'm paying attention to that high, put it in the comment section, right? Because price has come to that price point before and rejected down strongly, but you can clearly see that weekly time frame is clearly still bullish. Okay, daily time frame is also bullish. 4 hour time frame is also bullish right now. Okay, I'm still very, let's check the 1 hour time frame. Wow, this market is this particular one is very tempting yet very deceiving, right? This right here, price came here before, it rejected down very massively. You can see how massive it was. Now all time frames here are telling us it's very bullish, and you can clearly see the momentum of this market moving up. It's very possible that this market can continue up, but history can also repeat itself and sell down very strongly. So we could just avoid this market for this week to see if we can trade above this high, right? If we can trade above this high, then we can continue buying with this market, right? But we cannot just assume that price will get to this high this new week. So let's go to Euro JPY. Daily time frame, bullish. Let's come closer to confirm that. All right, very confirmed. Now, daily time frame is bullish, right? As you can see, we are supposed to delete everything, which I didn't. So this right here is the high, and this right here, should I call this the low or this the low? Make your decision. Which one you think is the low, right? But this right here is the high and the low. Now, another thing I noticed is that price slowed down, right? And it had like 3 rejections, and 1 day of price action engulfed 3 days of price action. So 1 day of bullish price action engulfed 3 days of bearish price action. So that is a good sign that we might buy this market. Weekly time frame is clearly also bullish. Last week was a doji, right? It's very possible after we see doji, we expect a reaction to the opposite direction, right, of that doji. So doji is a reversal candlestick pattern, right? Okay, so let's see 4-hour time frame now. Now we need 4-hour time frame in this time frame to be bullish, and it is bullish, but let us read this price action right now. So this right here, sell, 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 and now above that high, so it's also bullish, right? So the 4-hour time frame is also bullish. Now we need at least a 4-hour area of interest on this case, right, which is not as strong as the daily, but it's strong enough, right? So this area of interest is not going to work. Let's use this one. Okay, so now we have a 4-hour area of interest. Let's see how the 1 hour will look in this case. Now 1 hour is ready right now, which is crazy, right? 1 hour is ready right now, but we can't necessarily just enter on Sunday night, right? Because price might create that gap. Price might create that gap on Sunday night. So it's very possible that price, you don't know what's going to happen until price opens, right? So this is how the trade is supposed to be looking on Euro GBP, right? Let's add it for this week. I'll pay very close attention to Euro GBP this week. Next week, next pair CAD JPY. Okay, weekly time frame. Can't see this price action. Let's come closer. Weekly time frame is bullish very strongly. There's no need to look at that one. Delete everything. This time frame now, daily, is actually bearish right now. This right here, I'll still count it as a high, and this the low, making this market bearish because this now is now the new lower low, and this is the new lower high. So 4-hour time frame. All right, what is it? I can't read this. Next pair, please. Euro USD. Right. For some time, Euro USD have not given me any opportunity to trade. I don't know what you're doing. Euro USD is clearly very strongly bearish, and for the past 16 days, Euro USD has been bearish. What is the wisest thing to do in this situation? Look for where to sell, right? Look for where to join the sellers. Weekly time frame also clearly bearish, and 4-hour time frame also bearish as well. But area of interest is nowhere to be found. That's why I need to delete everything. Keep forgetting. Okay, so this might be an area of interest. Let's check the daily. We need a very strong area of interest. So daily, it's not clean. I don't want to force area of interest. Why is it not clean? We have one tap here, can barely see two tap here, then others are just above and below. I'm not planning on trading Euro USD this week. So NZD JPY, delete everything again so that we can have a clear perspective of what is happening right now. Daily time frame is clearly bullish. Clearly bullish, okay. Okay, so weekly time frame now. I don't trust this. I don't trust this candle. The reason was that the previous week was an engulfing candle at the top and we were at a high. Who says that it's not going to retrace just like how this week did? I mean, how all these weeks did, right? It's also very possible, but let's just continue. Since daily is bullish, we need at least 4 hours to be bullish too as well. And guess what? 4 hours is not bullish, it is clearly bearish. But here's my game plan on this market. I'll be looking for buys. Right, this right here is a strong area of interest, right? But it's a 4 hour area of interest, by the way, right? But it's also very strong. Now we have multiple rejections from those areas. If price is bearish right now, but if price is bearish right now, but if price breaks above this high, it will be clearly bullish because price will break above all these highs right here, right? So this right here can also be another buy on NZD JPY. Okay, seems like we are having a pattern here. We have JPY pairs for buys next week. Okay, NZD JPY, let's just add it close. Card, GBP card, let us see what we have. As it stands right now, I don't have to analyze all the pairs again because we already have multiple pairs this week. But let's just see what we have just in case you are following me and you want to see if your pairs is among my pairs. Right? So let's see GBP card. What the hell, right? On the daily time frame is what the hell because we don't know what's going on there. It's right at the top, which means we could need a deeper retracement to somewhere around here to buy, right? So this right here, we can't necessarily buy from this market. We can't buy from here. Can't buy at a higher high, right? It doesn't really work. Weekly time frame last week was just very strongly bullish. Then 4 hour time frame, we need a much more deeper retracement. So we are not interested on GP card. USD card. USD card, the momentum coming to this area of interest. By the way, we are looking to sell from here. So this right here, at this break, we are looking to have a retracement so that we can catch this sell, but we didn't get the retracement, so we couldn't join the sell, right? So I can't really see what to do on this pair right now. So AUD JPY. Now, from instinct, I should just expect that we should be buying any JPY pairs, right? So let's analyze and see if we end up buying AUD JPY just from now instinct. So first of all, I can see that this market structure is very clearly bullish, but let's come over very closely to see what we have. So now from this line, you can clearly see that this right here is the higher high, and this is now currently the higher low. So daily time frame is bullish, weekly time frame also clearly bullish, and now let's look for 4 hour time frame and if we can get an area of interest, which we cannot, right? Let's see, can we? It's a tight one. Can't work with this area of interest. I can't work with this area of interest. It's not so clean. But this market structure is bullish, so we could just be looking for reasons to buy. But I'm not interested in AUD JPY this week. GBP USD. Okay, GBP USD last week. I don't know if I can see it now. Right. GBP USD last week. This candle right here was NFP candle, right? So just above this right here, this video right here, if you go and watch it, I was recording NFP live, right? And I was predicting a sell on NFP, which Of course, I would have won because this right here is the 1:3 risk to reward, right? I always target 1:2, right? I just made it long just to see how this NFP usually goes, right? That's why you don't usually. That's why we don't usually trade NFP, right? All these news releases, right? So, but eventually the direction was correct because I actually analyzed the market, right? The daily was bearish, the 30 minutes was bearish, all those good stuff, right? So let us see what we have right now. Mm, weekly time frame. Let's see. All right, so weekly time frame is bullish right now. This right here was the lower low and the lower high for that is this. And now that we broke above, this is now the higher high and the higher low for that is this. So weekly time frame is bullish, daily time frame is bearish right now, and I like this market structure, right? I like when market structure is clearly bullish and when it shifts bearish, you can clearly see it, right? So I like that. So let us see this. All right, now I can also see something here. The market structure is bearish, right? And then we have an area of interest. Let's use this one. Okay, let's use this. I have an area of interest. So this area of interest is going to be big. So let me come closer so that I'll show you guys what I'm seeing. If I'm coming closer right now, you can clearly see this area of interest rejected once, twice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Recently stored around that area, and this might be the 10th one. Anyway, but from EME, you can clearly see that once price is now on that area of interest, we could be bearish, right? Now, another thing I'm seeing from here is some form of a trend line when price was bullish, right? Now, as if you are using some form of trend line break strategy, you can clearly see that we are clearly bearish right now, right? So that's the information only the daily gave us, right? Only the daily gave us. Now we at least need 4 hours to be bearish, which will not matter because we still need a clear break and retest under here. As you can clearly see from the EME, EMA was holding price as support at the time, right? But right now, you can clearly see that EMA is now holding price as resistance, right? So this market structure is clean. I like this one, right? So what I'll be looking for is just a very safe point where I could sell from, right? So I need price to actually be under this level. Once price is under this level, I'll start paying very close attention to this market, right? And why is that? Now, if I come closer, you can see that price have reacted from this point multiple times on the 4-hour time frame. Remember, the 4-hour time frame is also a very strong time frame, and if price is reacting from this point multiple times on the 4-hour time frame, it's very valid. So I need price to be trading below this area, then we could look for a new break and retest and take this trade on the 1-hour time frame. So this right here, GBP for sales, very good. I like it. So this is the game plan, right? But I still need a little bit more market structure so that my stop loss will not have to be all the way up here, right? So GBP let's add it for this week. Euro NZD. Not clean on the 4-hour, and is bullish by the way on the daily, right? But we have cleaner markets. There's no need to add Euro NZD. NZD USD next pair. All right. So now this is a very, very strong pattern we have always seen all the time. It's a very clean left head, right shoulder on the daily time frame. That's crazy. So daily time frame bearish, weekly time frame. Should I call this the higher high and higher low? If that's the higher high and higher low, it's bearish, but it doesn't really matter that much. Then 4-hour time frame is also clearly bearish right now. So area of interest. Can we have at least 3 taps, please? Area of interest, we have 2 taps from this area right now, right? This one, you might call it a third tap, but if you look at it, it's just like a week into the area of interest, right? So I actually expect this market to sell. I don't usually go all the way back here to be looking for price data, right? I usually use current price action because to me that is a little bit more relevant to what's happening right now, right? All this price action of like 300 days ago, I don't usually use it. If I just swipe back, you can clearly see that this is 2025, right? 2025 beginning. Like I don't usually use all those price data. I like current price actions. Now let's go over to the 4 hour. So I don't know why I'm no longer liking it, but the daily is very clean. So looks like we are going to be working mostly with the daily time frame. So best way to play NZD USD is to actually play it safer with the daily time frame because that is the time frame that looks cleaner, right? So you need the daily time frame to come back to area of interest first, then you look for all the confluences that will make you sell this market from here, right? Because right now if you are selling on the 1 hour time frame or using the 4 hour time frame, you are probably going to be selling from here, right? Or you need price to react from last previous structure point on the daily time frame, then look for other reasons to sell like a doji and engulfing. The 1 hour will have a break and retest and engulfing, all those good stuff, right? For now I will not be selling this market. I still need the retracement back into this area to sell. NZD, GPP NZD. All right, GPP NZD, which is the last pair. This is the daily time frame, right? So just a clean break and retest above this level will be good. So I'll just keep this one close, but a clean break and retest above this level will be good. So that's pretty much the pairs for this week. I'll create a shorter version of these pairs to explain it again, right? And then I'll choose the best. Right now, I can't really know which one is the best. I just identify the opportunities we might probably have, which is a lot, right? And then in the shorter version, I'll explain which one I'm going to be trading for this new week, right? So that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.